Have you ever worked so hard to host a holiday dinner that you were too tired and exhausted to enjoy it? The expense, cooking, cleaning, decorating, entertaining, screaming kids, screaming adults, add pressure, sprinkle stress, and suddenly the holidays feels more like the red wedding in the Game of Thrones than a joyous occasion. But what if there was a way to do Thanksgiving and celebrate the holidays differently? Create fun memories and not WWE matches. If that sounds like something you need, then you need to lean in. I made a podcast about it. Like to hear it? Here it goes. Roll it. Hello and welcome to Cruise Therapy. This podcast is dedicated to the world of cruising as a remedy to improve your mental well-being and lose those cruise blues one cruise ship at a time. Hi, my name is G Free and I am your cruise therapist with your dose of vitamin C, ocean, and river cruises. Today joining our call is Joy Gaines. Joy and her family recently returned home for a Thanksgiving cruise on the Carnival Venezia. She's here to tell us about her experience on board. Crewmates, please welcome aboard Miss Joy Gaines. I apologize for the mishap there. Welcome aboard and thanks for joining me on the call today. Crewmates, we're about to drop anchor on episode 6. Today we're talking ship with Miss Joy Gaines. And if you haven't already, grab a glass or bottle of your favorite drink. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Cruise Therapy, and we'll be back shortly.
You know what? I'm gonna put that on silent. Heights are afraid of me. Find your fun again. Ships. Right? Carnival is calling.
Welcome back to Cruise Therapy. Before we embark further into this episode, let me invite you to join the Cruise Therapy podcast crew. If you like me, like me. If you have friends, share me. If you got something to say it in the comments. If you like my vibe, subscribe, and then get notified. Again, I would like to welcome aboard my guest, Miss Joy Gaines, to the Cruise Therapy podcast. As I mentioned, she and her family recently returned home from a cruise on the Carnival Venezia over the Thanksgiving holiday. So, Joy, if memory serves me well, you and your family stayed prior to the cruise with family. So I guess I'll start my conversation on the drive down to Port Canaveral.
So we actually drove halfway. So we actually stayed at a nice hotel in Jacksonville the night before the port. And then we just drove the rest of the way in that morning to get on board.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Now, if memory serves me well, there is this high bridge that everybody goes over. And normally it scares me, but it also excites me because when you're coming over that bridge, you kind of see all the cruise ships. So how was your family, especially the boys? Were they excited when they started seeing the ships?
Absolutely. I think all of us, even my husband, and he's a fisherman, he loves to go fishing and everything. Right. So we're used to being around water. But when we went over the bridge, the boys, because we were already so excited to get on board and start the vacation. But when we saw the view, we got even that much more excited because we're like, we made it. We're finally almost ready to get on board. And it was just beautiful.
Right. Yeah, I am the same way. I get it's that height of the breeze, I get a little jittery. And then you are right. There are a lot of times when you're driving down that street, you'll see people pulled over that are fishing. So I can imagine if he's a fisherman, then he really likes that idea. Okay.
Yeah, my youngest one got super excited. He's only 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think besides the pictures online, they really were able to capture in person like how massive the cruise ship is.
Right.
And seeing so many beside each other, like, oh my goodness. Because when you see it in reality, it's just like, wow, we're about to get on this.
Right. Yeah. Yes. It can be a little intimidating because you're like, oh my God, this building is getting ready to cruise, across the ocean because it's huge. So since this was a
Right.
Thanksgiving holiday cruise, how was the traffic getting into Orlando?
It actually was pretty good. I don't know if it was just because of the timing. We were well prepared to, eat breakfast, get on the road. But overall, I actually expected it to be a little bit worse than it was. But it was good. I feel like we had more traffic on the way back home than actually there.
Okay. All right. Now, you opted to park at the cruise port versus doing off-site parking. So did you like that better? Was it worth the cost and also the convenience of being there? Or next time do you think, well, maybe I'll save a little money and I'll park to an off parking lot?
I felt like it was very convenient. I loved as soon as we got in, we were able to just drop off our baggage. Someone was even at the machine to take our payment. So everything was seamless. And it was nice being right there because after we unloaded the ship, all my husband had to do was just go around and get the car and bring it back down to meet us to get our baggage.
Right.
Now, saying that, I would still like to save coins next time. So probably my niece, she went and they actually parked at the hotel across the street.
Okay.
So they were able to get parking there and saved a little bit more because I probably would have rather used some of that money for stuff I wanted to buy.
Okay. Okay. Which
it
makes
wasn't
sense.
that big of a price difference, but so it's just kind of a choice. Do you want to spend a little bit more for the convenience or just walk across the street because it wasn't, far?
Right. Okay, very nice. Also, what about the embarkation process? Was that smooth, or did y'all have any delays getting on the ship?
We did not experience any delays. We pretty much went right on through all the parts where they, looked at our IDs and everything. Even with the quick stop to the bathroom before we got into the line, it actually went pretty smoothly considering how crowded it was. But everything was smooth. And then even when we got on, we're like, okay, where do we go now? What do we kind of do? But there was always someone to help you know where to go next. So we first went ahead and went to the muster station. Then we went right up to where they had everybody waiting and had some good food and talked and everything before our room was ready. So it was pretty smooth.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So normally I'll ask people, so how long did it take you to get from the car to the bar? But since you are with the family, I'll say, how long do you estimate that it took you to get from your car over to Guy's Burger?
It's funny because Guy's Burger ended up being a place where we went daily. I'm so glad that Guy's Burger is not anywhere near me because I probably would have put on more weight and still would be going there. It was so good. Both my boys wanted to eat there almost every day. But it did not take us long. That first day now, when we got up there, the line was kind of long, so we ended up eating where they had a variety of food on the inside.
Okay.
But we kind of timed it out the rest of the week. Yeah. So, at the Lido Marketplace, which was really nice to have a variety. And we figured out, they're serving the same thing multiple places on this long strip. So we got smarter as the days went on.
I think they try to do that to break up the congestion. So, so people are not, because they think that something's different at each station, but they kind of, trying to keep the crowd flowing.
Yeah, between the burgers and the ice cream, Those were two of our favorite spots every day.
Awesome. Great. So, all right. So you're on the ship. So, the Venezia, should I say, is an Italian themed ship, and it's not like the traditional Carnival ship that I think you've been on before. So, what was your first impression when you stepped on board?
I thought it was beautiful, like from the artwork and things that are on there. Like when you just walk in, it's breathtaking. Like you see the gold and just the decor, the carpets, like the lighting, everything is just beautiful.
Very nice. And I know it's a night. It's like you just said earlier that you don't realize the size of the ship. So when you were actually on board, did you feel like just to get around, did it feel overwhelming, at first, or did you find it very easy to navigate around the ship?
Well, we learned our way around pretty quickly, but the first day was just, I think it was part of us being tired from driving and coming into. I was just trying to keep up with where everything was,
Right.
But we definitely knew our way around. By like the second day, for sure, we found the sports bar because the Eagles were playing, so we had to watch the Eagles the first day we were there, even though they lost to the Cowboys.
Oh,
but
wow.
We found our way around and were able to get to exactly where we needed to be. We definitely got our steps because of that cove balcony. Our family ended up being on the second floor. Some of the other people we're with were on like floor 6. So every day walking up the Lido Marketplace and the food, we either rode the elevators or walked up, to floor 10.
Right.
And they like playing basketball and the game. So we were definitely getting our steps, but we could do the elevators. But a lot of times I didn't want to wait, so we would do the stairs.
Right. Now, since you mentioned your stateroom and you did have that cove balcony, the cove balcony is, for those who don't know, it's closer to the water, and so I know on some of the older ship, it's like when you walked out onto the balcony, sometimes there would be like the steel, you could see the steel of the ship, and then others they've installed glass where now you can walk out, like you can sit down and actually see the ocean sitting down, versus if you were looking, if you had one of those stateroom that had the steel, if you sat down, you would just be looking at the ship. So how was your cove balcony?
Oh, I would definitely pay for a cove balcony again. I will never do without a cove balcony at all. Like the view every morning going out, and one day we saw a double rainbow, and just when we would be coming into, a new island, it was well worth having that view and being able to go out there and sit, and then even if we weren't porting for the day, to just be able to go out there and with my book or put my feet up and just enjoy the beauty. Oh, it was so nice having that cove balcony.
Nice. Now, did you find the room was spacious enough for you and your family?
I think for a family of 4, it was going to be almost tight anyway. Mm-hmm. But I love that we had the option because we got the king size bed. The boys are used to bunk beds because one of my sons has bunk beds in his room anyway. So I felt like it was decent enough for our family of 4, and we planned for it by packing, extra things that would help us be able to organize in the room.
Right.
To help with all of our things. So we worked it out. So
okay. Very good. And were the beds comfortable? Did you sleep well? Did you enjoy your rest while you were at night?
Yes. Absolutely. Soft pillows, and we were so tired from the day. Anyway, we could just melt into bed every night when we were ready to go to bed. The beds were very comfortable.
Okay. All right. So moving right along, let's talk about what everybody wants to hear. Let's talk food. So overall, how would you rate your experience? I know you mentioned you did Guy's Burger and also the Lido Marketplace. Uh-huh. Did you, at any time during your cruise, did you go down to the main dining room?
Yes, we did go to the main dining room, like, because we had reservations there for every meal, so there were only, like, maybe one night that we skipped, or it may have been two,
Mm-hmm.
but it was such a nice experience. The variety of choices on the menu were so good. The staff was amazing. Like, they knew our names, and they really interacted with us and my boys and made us feel like we were family each night.
Uh-huh.
So it made it something that we look forward to each night, even though, if we missed it, we could always go to Lido or the Mexican place, or, they had hibachi and other places that we could choose from.
Right.
But we enjoyed the dining experience in the dining room, and they would play music. It would be like a party. They'd encourage us to get up and dance, and it was fun. And the food, not only was it entertaining and felt nice with the atmosphere, but the food was great.
Awesome. Now, since again that you were there during Thanksgiving, so in the main dining room, did they do any Thanksgiving themed meals?
No turkey.
What?
And I thought I would miss it. And I knew since it was an Italian themed boat, I didn't know what we were going to get. And I was like, oh, well, maybe we'll have like a traditional Thanksgiving. But nope, no turkey, no dressing. And that was okay, because when I got back, I went to Mama's house and got those things. But on the cruise, I didn't miss it. It was okay.
Yes.
Because I had my variety of choices each day. And so I never got tired, even going back to Guy's Burgers.
Right.
Yeah, I could have eaten those like every single day. And you would think you would get tired of some of the things, but they did a good job of switching up the menus, especially at dining at night.
Uh-huh.
You never really have to eat.
Oh, I think I lost you.
Yeah, something went by that was kind of noisy. So
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they did a good job of having a variety from the entrees, desserts, and different things. So it was good. I did not miss having the traditional meal.
Okay, all right. Now, did you do any of the specialty dining restaurants that were on board?
We did not. We just stuck with what was included, but I do know, like, my niece and they went to the hibachi place,
Okay.
and they said it was awesome, but we didn't this time.
Okay, all right. Now, you mentioned the kids and their experience. So, did you enroll them in the Camp Ocean programs, the kid programs?
Yes, my youngest, who's 8, had a blast. Yeah, he was excited to go. We probably, had I known that he was going to enjoy it so much, I probably would have started him on the first day. But we kept him with us a lot of it, because once we would port, we were always doing activities.
Right.
But once he said that he wanted to go, we started letting him go. And he said he made friends. And as soon as we would eat breakfast, he was ready to go.
Oh, wow.
My teenager, on the other hand, he was like, he was not feeling trying to go with the teen thing. But it looked like, from what I saw, that they did have a lot of fun, things for the teens. But we kind of noticed that, there were families who would come in groups. So it seemed like the teenagers who were there already kind of had friends who were on the trip. So I kind of got why he didn't want to go, but he was just having fun with us and doing his own thing.
Right,
so
right.
He had fun, even though he did not participate with that. But my youngest had a blast.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I hear that quite often with, parents who take their kids, that their kids is like, okay, yeah, see you later. They are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can understand with your oldest how he can, they families all, I don't want to say clicked up, but yeah, they already got their bond going. So it's kind of hard to break into that. But yeah. And I think, is he into gaming?
Yeah. And I told him, I was like, they have games there. And one night we went to a show and they had specialty reserved seating for like the group. So they had these. So I said, you don't want to go to the neon team prom or stuff? He's like, no, Mom. And that was okay. He was having fun doing the other stuff. He liked the hot tub. He liked going to the basketball court and playing, mini golf and doing his own thing.
Okay, so
that was okay.
You felt
still having fun.
Yeah, so you felt comfortable enough allowing him to kind of go off on his own and kind of explore and then come back with the family.
Oh, yes, because we did purchase the $5 chat, which was great and well worth it. So I could always keep up with him and know where he was or where he was going. And sometimes with the ship being so big, I mean, I would definitely recommend that people buy the chat for sure, because when you're trying to find a place to sit, or, I mean, you can just easily get separated because there's so many people. So that was nice to have the chat so we could always keep in touch with each other if we did decide to do our own things. Because as much as I love the family time, I wanted to make sure that I was able to do things that I wanted to do too, even if they didn't want to. So we did stuff as a family like karaoke and some of those other things and shows, but I wanted to go to line dancing. Nobody else wanted to go, so I went by myself. I went to a spa pamper thing that was, for women. There were a couple of men there, but I was like, okay, y'all have fun. I'm going here.
Right. Yeah, it's your vacation too.
Right.
So yeah, you should enjoy it. So while you were out doing anything, was your husband out exploring, doing things on his own?
Yeah, he did do some things on his own as well. And of course, he took the boys to do basketball and these too. But it's funny, my husband is very a quiet kind of type. He's kind of like a homebody. But he met so many people on the ship that actually ended up being from Atlanta or close by. But he would be up there and we would be walking around and he would be dapping people. And I'm like, how do you know this person? But he just met from walking on the ship and, doing his thing. And at the sports bar from, sports brings people together,
right,
even when you're on opposite teams. So
that is hilarious.
So I was pleasantly surprised.
So he at home, he's a homebody, but when he out on the cruise, he didn't know everybody.
Yeah, he made some friends, and I was like, "Who is this?" Right.
That is awesome. So, also doing the cruise on the Venezia, you visit islands like the Grand Turk, San Juan, and St. Thomas. Did you take any excursions while you were on those islands?
Yes, we did. And I think my favorite was probably Grand Turk, even though that was a smaller island. Now, we did not book with the cruise ship. We actually, when we would get off, we would look for some of the local people who were there, and that's how we did a lot of our excursions.
Okay.
But yeah, we would go with him, and I love Grand Turks because, you could tell that he really knew a lot of the history and the culture, and so it was easy, to just find somebody off the cruise, but, I mean, we know people who also took advantage of what the cruise had to offer, but we found it just as easy to, find someone who was going to the beach or who would take you on a tour around the city, and we were just like, okay, we got to be back at such and such time because we did not want to miss
right. Yeah, you don't want to be one of those that's running after the ship. No, ma'am.
Right.
Okay, very good. Now, out of the 3 destinations that you visited, was there an island that stood out more than the other that you can make it your favorite island and would revisit it again?
Oh, it was stuck with. See, surprisingly, I thought I was gonna love San Juan, Puerto Rico, and it was okay. But my favorite would have to be St. Thomas, and that's where we actually were on Thanksgiving. And then behind that would be Grand Turks again because of the culture and the beauty. But both the water and all 3 were beautiful. But something about St. Thomas, and maybe it was being there Thanksgiving too, but the water was just so calm and beautiful. San Juan, it was beautiful too, but the waves were a little bit rougher. But I would love to go back to St. Thomas again.
Okay, very good. Very good. Now, we're back on the ship. So, as far as entertainment, did you do any of the entertainment? And it sounds like you may have visited some of the shows and things on board.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we went to Broadway shows. I played bingo with my auntie Carmen. We also did, like the night before we left, me and my husband went to this marriage game show competition. I forget the name of it, but they had like a newlywed, a couple who've been married, in the medium range, and a couple who've been married for like over 40 plus years. That was great. Karaoke. There was so much entertainment. And all the shows were so professional. Like we didn't go to the comedy one just because we had the kids and I knew that was more mature, and we didn't split up to where me and my husband just went to see that. Me and my husband went to just see the marriage kind of thing, and the boys liked the game show that was the parents with the kids against each other. So that was fun too. But I loved how there was plenty to do. But at the same time, if you just wanted to relax and be at the hot tub or at the, pool, you could. So it was a good mix of things to do for all of our family. With the kids having a 7-year gap, it was still nice that both of them had things that they could do, and we as adults still had entertainment too. So I love that it was a family cruise that all of us will look back and say, wow, that was just such a great time and great memories that we made as a family.
Oh, that is nice. That is awesome. So now we're coming to the sad part. It's time for you to go home.
Aww.
So how was disembarkation, getting off the ship? How was that process?
I felt better about getting off than getting on, actually, because I guess there were just nerves about, okay, making sure we have everything. And, when it's time to get off, you're more sad about, man, I have to go back to work or get back to reality after having these 7 days of just relaxation and fun. But that process was like so smooth. I mean, they let you know everything that you needed to do. So we had our luggage out the night before. We were able to go have a good breakfast before we get off. The app was so easy to use. So we had already had our time scheduled for the debarkation. So everything was pretty smooth, even after we got off the ship with finding our luggage. All of that was an easy process, and we found someone who was able to help us, because as a family, we all had 2 bags apiece, so we found somebody who was able to help us get a rolling thing so we could put everything together, and then he took us right to the station where we could show the passports and the documentation to get back to our car. So it was pretty smooth.
Right. Okay, very good. So let me ask you this. What was the most favorite thing you did while you were on the cruise? And what was your least favorite thing you did? Or it could be like how the team, the cruise ship team, they handled things. So I guess I want to know the good and the bad of your cruise experience.
Okay, I have to say like 2 good. So the best part of the cruise experience was all the different places we were able to see over that span. And the staff, who was amazing throughout, from the dining to everything, the shows, like everybody on the ship was wonderful. The worst thing, which may be like a small thing, but the only worst thing that I can think of was on the ship, they had these smart elevators that didn't seem so smart. That just had to be but we know they had to use them like certain days. So when you got on, of course, they were going to use them to make sure everybody got their baggage on time to the room. And, at night they would be stopped sometimes to the day before so they could get everybody's baggage, which helped with the process. But it just seemed throughout the cruise sometimes that it would take forever for the elevator to get you where to pick you up from your floor.
Yeah.
So
give me a dumb elevator any day.
And they were nice and fancy, but I was like, okay, we're just going to use the gift of the legs and get these steps, because that was probably the worst part. So it's not a huge deal, but you would think they would have been a little bit better since they were the smart, upgraded ones,
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I was on another cruise line. Well, all of them are kind of moving over there to kind of help, with the elevators. But to me, it takes much longer when they do it that way than versus just doing it the regular way. We just push a button, we're going up, we're going up, we're going down, down. So I totally agree with you. Yeah, they're more inconvenient than they are convenient.
Right.
So would you cruise on this ship again?
Absolutely. In fact, I was already looking in my app last week because I was like, ooh, because I actually think Thanksgiving might be the perfect time for our family to repeat year after year, or definitely the next year, as long as we're blessed to be able to do that. And I was already looking, and they actually have a ship, the same ship, next year, different places, 7 days, that might work with our schedule. So we'll see. But because we had such a good time on it, and now we definitely know our way around the ship, I would definitely want to go back on there again.
Nice. Now, as we wrap this up, do you have any final remarks, anything that you want to say about, your cruise experience, again, good, bad, or, or indifferent?
Yeah, if you've been thinking about taking, a cruise, and especially during the holidays, and because Thanksgiving, Christmas, those are really special times for your family, and I thought that I was really going to miss some of the things that I would have had at home. But it was so well worth it to make these memories with my family. It was so well planned thanks to you, our wonderful travel agent who helped us out, being so responsive to alleviate some of the anxiety. Because if you haven't been, in a while, especially because it had been like years and years since I've been, so I felt like it was my first one all over again. But it was so well worth it, and we felt so blessed to be able to take our family on this experience because it was my husband's first time, both my boys, and when I was that age, 8, and 14 as my oldest, I had never been out of the country before, so they were able, to see beautiful places over the span, and it was just such a blessing, well worth every single, penny that was spent towards it, because those memories we will have for a lifetime, and it was just such a great experience, and I was why have we not done this earlier? So I'm excited, can't wait for the next one. I'm
surprised Carmen hadn't tried to loop you in before.
I've heard of all these wonderful trips, and I was like, man, we could have been doing this years ago. So very thankful for this experience, and cannot wait to the next one. It's well worth it. So we've gone on other places to like Disney, and when I think about how much we paid for Disney and didn't even stay a week, and how much more we were able to do and see on a cruise. It's like, yeah, we should have been doing it a long time ago. It was so much fun, and we would never forget it.
Well, I agree with you on that, Mark. As far as Disney and how you got to pay the mouse.
Yeah.
But it is a great experience for your family to create memories. And when you're ready, I am here. And as I wrap this up, again, I want to say thank you, Joy, for taking time out of your day to talk ship about your cruise on the Carnival Venezia. And hopefully we can get you and your family on another ship soon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Ahoy, crewmates. Wasn't that a great review from our new crewmate, Joy Gaines? Unfortunately, it's time to disembark from this episode of Cruise Therapy. If you have been inspired and are ready to book your next cruise on the Carnival Venezia, please visit our website at www.atlantatravelassociates.com, and I'll also leave a web link in the description section below. Hey, I'm G Free, your cruise therapist, and I hope you'll tune in for more cruise therapy. Until our next therapy session, thanks for listening. Bye.